Hello, just a really quick update. It's super late. I am totally 2 seconds from going to bed, but I wanted to share just with a quick little like, hey, how's it going so far? So for the last couple of days, I have been working diligently on my weekender. As I mentioned, I wanted to finish the not the weekender light by the end of this month, and I've made a slow progress. Progress is not worth showing. It's still in the tube. I haven't broken for sleeves yet, but the pattern is working out pretty nicely. Um, Another pattern that has recently got my attention because I was so close to being finished, I actually was able to break for the front and the back, and this is a tessellated vest. So right before New Year's, I was able to break for the front and back because I had 10 inches on the body. That's how much you need before you do that, depending on your size. The size I was doing is 10 inches. But anywho, I'm so excited, and I go to the back and front. I didn't really read the neck shaping and underarm shaping, so which is going to lead me to the next part of my story. So I finish the front, go ahead and do the back. Again, not following the directions as well as I should. Oh my goodness, my nails look cute. Not following the directions as well as I should. Finished it, went ahead and put it all together, and it's so embarrassing, but the collar literally was going slanted. And it's a how can I say this? I just spent too much time, too much money, and too much energy into this project to let that be the final product. So I went snip snip. I cut I cut it up. If you're interested in seeing what that looks like, I took a video of myself because I could not believe that I had spent hours doing this, because this is fingering weight yarn, and this is a pattern that's mosaic, which means that you slip a stitch, you knit a stitch, you slip a stitch, knit a stitch, and it's not going to always come work up as fast as other projects. And so this is the body. Now that I've had the experience of trying it on with the, if I were to to knit it to the pattern, I realized I do have a long torso and it just wasn't long enough. It was actually hitting at the high part of my stomach. So what I'm going to do is just add on about 2.5 inches more than what the pattern calls for the new size that I'm doing, because I was doing a larger size. And so um, now I'm thinking that maybe I will do the front decreasing to reflect a smaller size. But anywho, I am going to increase the length of it because again, I want to make sure that this is hitting, that the hem is hitting right at my waist. And right now it's not even touching my belly button. I noticed that in the pictures of Andrea Mari that this particular pattern seems to be cropped. So never, yeah, but it's come along really well. It's beautiful. Just really recap on types of yarn. As I mentioned before, I'm using, sorry, I was looking for the tags. I'm using Labian's hand-dyed mohair. Oh, excuse me, Surrey. It's 74% baby Surrey and 26% mulberry silk. And the colorway I'm using is called Driftwood Giraffe. I'm still on the first skein, and this is how much I have left. So I definitely have plenty to do for the rest of the pattern, and I still have the ripped out portion that I can always frog and add it to it without breaking into the other skein. But like I said, I definitely believe I'm going to have plenty. This particular skein of yarn comes with 328 yards, and so it's going by really well. So I'm using that. I'm also using Spin Cycles. I've tried out a couple of different colorways, and the one that I ended up going forward with is called Salty Dog. So I did a combination of Salty Dog and Close Call. Both skeins of yarn are sport weight, 200 yards, and it's 100% American wool that's superwash. And the other yarn I'm using, I don't have the tag with me, is Moondrake's Moonspun. That too is a sport weight. And so because of the weight of the yarn, that also contributes to how slow it's going. So I'm going to redo my crazy ponytail and get ready to get some sleep, because with it being a 3-day weekend, I would like to work consistently on this particular project. I'm going to continue to work on my weekender project while I'm at work. And when I just need to do a social knit, I'm not going to rush to that. My hope is to have it done by the end of this month, but if it's the end of next month, so be it. I'm still working on this zipper sweater for my son. Hopefully, I will pick that up and work a little bit more continuously on that, because I have not made much progress. Let's see if I have that particular project back. I do have that project back in here. So as you can see, I know it's a little hard to tell with the lighting, but I finished the collar, as you can see. And now, oh, there we go. Now you can see I finished the collar, and now I'm just doing the short row shaping for the back. It's a really easy pattern. I mean, whoops. I'm enjoying it. So I definitely see myself knitting another one. And I think for the collar, my Tunisian hook came out of the tube I had it in. I think for the collar in the future, instead of doing a 1x1 ribbing and then that you use, I think you use Turkish cast on, if I remember correctly, but you do a 1x1 ribbing and then you join it together, a folded brim. And I'm not really feeling the folded brim, so I'm thinking about trying either the double knit, because it won't be as thick. And we don't really do thick things around our neck in my family. So I think if I were to make future zipper sweaters, which I still hope one day to make a sweater for every person in my family, including myself, I will definitely use the double knit approach, because you're still going to get the warmth, but not as much of the tightness that sometimes comes with the folded collar. So I'm still working on that. I put a pause, on my cable sweater because that's such an intricate sweater, and I was making so many mistakes because I was trying to knit on it while other projects. I'm going to put a pause on that, and I'll come back to it most likely when I am finished with either the tessellated vest or the weekender. My hope is that if I finish both this month, then I can hyper focus on that project. And the last two things I wanted to share before signing off, let's see, pair of socks I was able to cast on. I think I mentioned this last time I filmed, but I took my son to the movies and I did a Judy's Magic Cast On, watching Nitty Natty show you how to do a toe up sock, and I'm following some of the suggestions that she's making, plus what I've done in the past for sweaters. So I'm still enjoying that one. I haven't worked on it as much. Again, that's my at-home social knit, just when I need to interact with other people and not isolate myself. And the last thing I wanted to share is this beautiful yarn bowl. So I'm going to be very careful with it so I don't break it. I'll put it right here so you can see, maybe some more light. So I always talk about my students in these videos, and today is no different. I have a wonderful human being who's one of my students who was visiting Canada with her mom, and they went to a farmer's market, and she was so kind enough to not only buy me this beautiful yarn bowl, but she also purchased me this two skeins of this roving yarn. This one is in this colorway, and then the other is in this colorway. So two beautiful skeins of yarn. I have some other rowing yarn that I think I'm going to do like one of those block cardigans, or I might even make a stripe. I don't know. I'm going to keep playing around with that. Probably make a cowl if I were just to use those two. But and so in addition to the yarn, she gave me this yarn bowl, and what's so beautiful about it is the height. It also has two holes here where you can put in a stick and let it roll out with the yarn. I've already started using it. So I'm just so grateful for the generosity of her, and to be thinking of me while she's traveling with her families, or her family, excuse me. So yeah, I guess that's technically an acquisition. I have not purchased any yarn since December 30th. And so I am sticking to my no buy. I really have such a beautiful selection of yarn that I've been fortunate enough to acquire in the last 2 years. And so I really just want to spend quality time with it. And I want to use it up, because if it's not fit to use, I'm going to keep getting ideas and changing my mind. So for example, I know I was about to say I was logging out, but I just wanted to quickly share this. I have the Arctic Light sweater that I want to knit, but I forgot I have this beautiful other DK yarn that I was trying to do for another Veronica sweater. So we'll see if I'll end up using that yarn or the double Sunday. My point is that when you have all this yarn in your stash or pantry, whatever you want to call it, you get so many ideas, and then it's just nice to go back into the cubbies or the bags or the bins of all the beautiful yarn that we've acquired and reminisce on why we fell in love with that particular yarn. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to stick to doing that. And if the pattern that I'm interested in doing, if the yarn just isn't compatible with what excuse me, if the pattern and the yarn are not compatible with each other, I'm just not going to do the pattern until after April, because in April is when I'm going to do my big yarn haul, whatnot, because my thing is, if that pattern I so genuinely want to knit, if I really want to knit it, I can wait until after April. I have so many different projects right here that these are all my project bags just ready for me to either cast on or continue knitting, because some of them in here have already been started. So I have plenty in my bags to do, especially if I come across a pattern, because I just recently was introduced to the Haley cable sweater by Sanders Garn. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll cast it on. I'm like, Rachel, you have so many others. So I leave you with happy thoughts, inspiration, and hope that you find some time for yourself to knit or to crochet or to weave or whatever crafty thing that meets your mojo for the weekend. Have a wonderful weekend.